But yeah, for me, it started when I was 15. I took painkillers for the first time, like oxys, like anything you get from a surgery. And it was just, I was hooked from there.
You have tragedies ranging from Darren Waller's fentanyl scare to Johnny Manziel blowing $5 million on blow, all the way to L.T.'s crack addiction. So, you flunked the test because the coach skipped a check-in. Nah, let's be real. I failed because I was getting stoned, just like Josh Gordon out there running routes while completely blitzed. The roster of guys battling demons is shocking. Take Darren Waller. By 15, he was swiping his folks' oxycodone. In college, he's burning $100 a day on pills while somehow faking his way through a business degree. Baltimore picked him up in 2015, but he was a walking red flag, failed 100 drug tests. He would roll into practice loaded on everything opioids. Benzos, coke, molly, ecstasy, weed, booze, you name it. The league hammered him. 4-game ban in 2016, followed by a whole season on the sidelines in 2017. Then came August 11th, 2017. That is the day the music stopped. Waller slumped over in his Jeep, overdosed on fentanyl-laced pills. He was out cold for hours, practically knocking on death's door. It makes you wonder, that daily grind against your own brain, does the urge ever actually vanish? How does a nightmare like that even take root?
I like what you said about it's a continuous battle. Like today, it may not be like wanting to use or wanting to drink or nothing like that, but it's like other addictive behaviors that could replace it. So
While suspended, this future star was stocking shelves at Sprouts for minimum wage, but getting clean became his edge. The Raiders took a gamble in 2018, and by the next year, he erupted for over 1,100 yards. 2020 was pure dominance. We are talking 107 grabs, nearly 1,200 yards, and 9 scores. A total Pro Bowl showcase. He hung up his cleats in June 2024, walking away from $35 million. But the game pulled him back a year later with Miami. Now sober for 8 years, he is funding treatment for others through his foundation. Speaking of legends flirting with disaster, let us pivot to the linebacker who changed the game forever while smoking rock. Lawrence Taylor. He dabbled with powder his rookie year in '81. 3 seasons later, the Hall of Famer was burning through an entire ounce of crack every single day.
You're a legend.
I know.
You got a ton of money. Coke is the only bright spot in your future?
Because that's how powerful the drug is.
And Taylor was so powerless to resist it that the day after his final game in 1994...
Taylor did not just use in the offseason. He confessed to playing completely high. He claimed the coke spiked his aggression on the field. To dodge the tests, he was swapping urine samples with teammates. But he still got popped in '87 and '88. A 30-day ban hit him in '88. But retirement was where the wheels fell off. By '95, he had done rehab twice. Then came the handcuffs busted trying to score crack in '96, another bust in '98 for possession. His mansion turned into a straight-up crack den, with Taylor torching $1,000 a day on drugs and escorts. November '98 was the pivot. He checked into rehab in Jersey, finally ready to quit. He has been clean for over 26 years now, walking into the Hall of Fame in '99 as a sober man, now 66 and chilling in Florida. He is still in the mix. Trump even tapped him for the President's Council on Sports in August 2025, while L.T. was terrorizing quarterbacks. A certain receiver was turning Dallas into his private stash house. Michael Irvin. His habit started back at the U in the '80s, right in the heart of the cocaine cowboy era. The Cowboys grabbed him at pick 11 in '88. 3 rings, 5 Pro Bowls, and franchise records later. He was a god in Texas, but March 4th, '96, that is the date etched in infamy. Cops raided his hotel room and found over 10 grams of coke, a massive rock of crack, and well, let us just say, a party setup with 2 exotic dancers. Irvin was so wasted he did not know where he was. Staring down 20 years in prison, he pled no contest, got off with deferred probation, a 10 grand fine, and 800 hours of community service. The NFL sat him for 5 games. But the chaos did not stop. He literally stabbed a teammate in the neck over a haircut in '98. Still, That 96 arrest was the wake-up call. His wife, Sandy, told him to get right with God. That pushed him into rehab and meetings. He has held it together for over a quarter century now, staying clean since 2005. Today, at 59, Irvin is worth about $12 million and lights up the screen as an analyst for the NFL Network. From a cowboy legend to a modern tragedy, Josh Gordon had Hall of Fame talent but an undeniable addiction. He confessed to playing basically his entire career, college and pros, while intoxicated. The man led the entire league with over 1,600 yards in 2013, and he did it while high for every single snap. It started way back in 7th grade. 12 years old, popping a whole Xanax bar and zoning out in class. By high school, he was running on a daily fuel of pills, syrup, and weed.
So, you failed your drug test because the coach didn't come by with you.
Well, I failed the drug test because I was getting high.
Cleveland drafted him in 2012. His pre-game warm-up, shots of whiskey and a blunt, post-game dive into cocaine and lean. He hit lows that would break anyone wandering the streets looking for dealers. Terrified he might die, the suspensions kept coming, wiping out his entire 2014 season, banned in 2015, denied in 2016. Indefinite suspension in 2018. He went to rehab a dozen times. But something finally clicked in 2017. He realized, if I want a life, I have to stop. By 2021, he was living clean. As of 2025, Gordon has 5 solid years of sobriety under his belt. While Gordon was battling demons, another player was using substances for a totally different reason. Let us talk about Ricky Williams and the misunderstood world of weed. People got Ricky Williams all wrong. The '98 Heisman winner wasn't partying. He was self-medicating for severe social anxiety and borderline personality disorder. Cannabis was the only thing that made him feel human. It quieted the noise, let him overcome his shyness, and actually look people in the eye. He sparked up before kickoff, claiming it saved his body and career. The anxiety was so bad he would do interviews with his helmet on and that dark visor pulled down tight. New Orleans took him 5th in '99 before he moved to Miami. He racked up 10,000 yards and 66 touchdowns. But the league's archaic drug rules hammered his career momentum. Between 2002 and 2003, he got hit with a $650,000 fine and a 4-game ban. By July 2004, a third positive test forced him into retirement, leaving him in the hole to Miami for $8.6 million. Williams went off the grid, living in a tent in Australia, practicing yoga in India, and studying Ayurveda in California. By 2007, he earned reinstatement after strict testing, and yoga helped him kick the habit for a while. He stayed clean from marijuana from 2007 through 2011, only going back to responsible usage after hanging up his cleats. Now 48, Williams is living the life in Los Angeles, sitting on a net worth of $10 to $15 million as president of Heisman Brand and CEO of the Lila app. From cannabis to painkillers, this quarterback's spiral started innocently enough with injury treatments. Brett Favre's battle with addiction kicked off in 1992 following a separated shoulder, right when team doctors started prescribing him Vicodin. From 1994 to 1995, his tolerance skyrocketed to 15 or 16 extra-strength Vicodin at once. That is a 2-week supply swallowed in a single day. He called it a slow creep. 2 gave him a buzz, then 4, then 8. He was running on just 1 to 2 hours of sleep a night, but still felt wired. A massive health scare marked his absolute rock bottom. 1995 brought on the seizures. Then another hit in February 1996, absolutely terrifying his family. The paradox is that during his MVP run in 1995, Favre was popping up to 14 Vicodin daily and still threw for 4,413 yards. He voluntarily checked himself into the NFL substance program in May 1996, spending 72 to 75 days in Kansas. Knowing non-compliance meant a $900,000 fine, he relapsed after the Super Bowl, eventually needing 3 separate stints in rehab. His lowest point hit him in Mississippi with just 8 pills left in the bottle. He flushed them down the toilet, contemplating suicide before finally going cold turkey. His third trip to rehab came in 1998 for alcohol. He has been sober for over 27 years now. At 56, Favre calls Mississippi home. He went public with a Parkinson's diagnosis in September 2024, all while being embroiled in Mississippi's $77 million welfare fraud scandal. Speaking of Iron Men, here is a story where painkiller addiction led straight to a prison cell before redemption. Ryan Leaf isn't just known as the biggest bust in NFL history. He also took the hardest fall. Leaf was drafted second overall behind Peyton Manning in 1998, inking a $31.2 to $5 million deal, the biggest signing bonus ever at the time. But his NFL career flamed out in just 4 seasons with a 4-17 record, 14 touchdowns, and 36 interceptions. Wrist surgery in 1999 was his gateway to opioids. He got hooked fast, becoming fully dependent after retiring at just 26 years old. By 2002, the addiction spiraled with Vicodin and OxyContin, leading him to go doctor shopping and start forging prescriptions. 2009 brought burglary charges in Montana for breaking into a player's home to score pills. He fled across the border to Canada. Then came 2012 with multiple burglaries in Texas, stealing hydrocodone from people's houses. His rock-bottom moments included overdoses and solitary confinement in prison, where he seriously considered ending his life. He spent 9 months in the hole. That Texas arrest in 2012 led to judge-mandated treatment at Karen Renaissance in Florida. 90 days of detox and therapy forced him to confront his roots, his failures, and his shame. From 2012 to 2014, prison forced him to look inward, followed by sober living and daily AA meetings after his release. Leaf has been clean since May 2012, that is over 13 years of sobriety. At 49, he is living in Los Angeles, working as a broadcaster, serving as an analyst for ESPN and the SEC network since 2019. He tied the knot with Anna Klein in 2023 and has a net worth between $1 and $5 million. From pills to party drugs, this quarterback's addiction was fueled by undiagnosed mental illness. Eric A. admitted in 2011, "I am a drug addict. I would have made Charlie Sheen look like Miss Daisy." The Jets drafted Danny Ainge's nephew in the 5th round back in 2008 out of Tennessee. But his addiction started way back at age 12 with marijuana. A broken finger in his senior year introduced him to painkillers oxycodone and Vicodin, which he abused by the handful daily. By the time he transitioned to the NFL, A was a full-blown addict, adding cocaine, heroin, alcohol, and Xanax to the mix. His bipolar disorder went completely undiagnosed until 2009 or 2010, with rapid cycling mood swings fueling his need to self-medicate. He was using pretty much every single day, even showing up to practice under the influence, which led to several overdoses that landed him in the hospital. Addiction completely obliterated his potential. He never started a single NFL game, appearing in just 2. A 2-week bender in 2010 involving cocaine, heroin, and alcohol scared him enough to enter rehab in July of that year. Fearing he was going to die, he missed the entire season. He officially retired in June 2011 at the young age of 25. A overcame his addiction and has maintained his sobriety since July 17, 2010, over 15 years now. Faith and God became the keys to breaking his chains. After 4 months of inpatient care at McLean Hospital, he was finally diagnosed as bipolar and started mood stabilizers. At 39, hosts the Eric A. Show on WNML. He has been happily married to Susan Marie A. since 2024, and they have a miracle son named Thomas. While A. battled pills and heroin, another player's alcoholism led him to homelessness. Aldon Smith was sleeping under a car when he hit rock bottom. The 49 ERs drafted this generational talent, 7th overall back in 2011. He set an NFL record with 33.5 sacks in his first 2 seasons, 14 as a rookie and 19.5 in 2012, earning All-Pro honors and a trip to the Super Bowl. But severe alcoholism, compounded by marijuana use, ravaged his career. Smith described alcohol as a crutch for his anxiety, admitting, "I struggled with anxiety. I needed something before I could go out." He had lost 31 people to suicide and overdose. His first DUI hit in January 2012 in Miami Beach. September 2013 brought another DUI and marijuana possession charge after he crashed his truck. He went to rehab for 5 weeks, but a third DUI in August 2015 was the final straw, prompting the 49 ERS to release him just hours after the arrest. His rock bottoms were brutal homelessness, sleeping under a car in 2018, and blowing a 0.40 blood alcohol content. Smith's addiction destroyed a Hall of Fame trajectory that started with 52.5 sacks. 2019 marked a turning point when his grandmother's death from ALS prompted a bedside promise: change or die. This led him to a sober living facility in Los Angeles. Reinstatement came in 2020 after he stayed clean for 9 months. Smith has overcome alcoholism and maintained sobriety since December 2021, roughly 4 years now. At 36, Smith retired in October 2023 and now runs Intelligent Movement as a recovery coach. From sleeping under cars to wide receiver greatness through faith and Buddy Ryan's tough love, let's talk Cris Carter. Cris Carter boldly states, "I am a drug addict and an alcoholic. Deep inside my soul, I am an alcoholic." That level of honesty is what saved his Hall of Fame career. The Eagles grabbed Carter in the 1987 supplemental draft following an Ohio State scandal, where payments from agents introduced him to crack cocaine. He went on to play 16 seasons, retiring with 1,101 receptions, 13,899 yards, and 130 touchdowns. Addiction to cocaine, alcohol, marijuana, and ecstasy rooted in that 1980s party culture nearly destroyed everything. Carter's addiction started at Ohio State between 1984 and 1986, where agent money funded his heavy usage. "Crack cocaine blew my mind," he said. He failed 3 drug tests between 1987 and 1990. Carter was sleeping in his car at Veterans Stadium after massive binges. He was buying drugs in Camden while wearing his Eagles gear and even got robbed once. Coach Buddy Ryan knew the deal and delivered some serious tough love. "The only reason I am cutting you is the drugs." Rock bottom hit on Labor Day, 1990, when the Eagles waived him at age 24. The Vikings snagged Carter for a measly $100. But the deal came with heavy strings attached, mandatory AA meetings twice a week, and drug testing 3 times a week for 8 solid years. A clean and sober Carter absolutely went off in 1995, racking up 122 catches and 1,371 yards, having maintained his sobriety since September 21st, 1990. That is over 35 years clean. Now 59, Carter is living the life in South Florida, taking over as the executive director of player engagement at Florida Atlantic University in the spring of 2024. Johnny Manziel shattered the mold in 2012, becoming the first freshman in history to take home the Heisman Trophy and completely revolutionizing the college game. The Browns snagged him with the 22nd overall pick in 2014, but his career imploded due to undiagnosed bipolar disorder mixed with a heavy cocktail of alcohol, cocaine, OxyContin, Xanax, and MDMA. Manziel confessed to using right before kickoff and later went on a massive $5 million bender after leaving the Browns, dropping 40 pounds from a mix of coke and OxyContin between 2015 and 2016, a spiral that ended with a suicide attempt where the gun jammed. The glory of his 2012 Heisman win quickly faded as he moved into a drug house, smoking marijuana all day, every day. He was snorting Xanax mixed with booze and blow, while his undiagnosed bipolar disorder fueled manic highs and devastating crashes throughout 2017 and 2018. Addiction wiped out his stats, leaving him with just 15 games played, 7 touchdowns, and a dismal 2-6 record before the Browns cut him loose in March 2016. Amidst a pile of arrests and domestic violence charges, Manziel has been clean since early 2018, clocking in over 7 years of sobriety after his ex-fiancée pushed him to get psychiatric help, leading to a bipolar diagnosis that finally brought stability through meds and therapy. In February 2018, he went on Good Morning America to announce he was fully sober. And now at 32, He keeps a low profile working as an analyst for ESPN and the SEC network. Speaking of backfield stars who lost it all to substance abuse, there is the heartbreaking story of a Denver Bronco who had to watch his team win the Super Bowl from behind bars. That man was Monty Ball, who sat in a jail cell watching Super Bowl 50 as his old teammates hoisted the trophy, knowing his alcoholism was the only reason he wasn't on that field. The Broncos grabbed Ball with the 58th pick in 2013 after he dominated at Wisconsin, where he was a 2011 Heisman finalist and the Big Ten's all-time leader with 83 touchdowns. His struggle with the bottle was genetic, tracing back to his father and grandfather, but it really took hold during his college days with heavy binge drinking. During the season, he was hitting the bottle 4 days a week, to the point where coach Eric Studsville caught the scent of booze on him during meetings, leading to a demotion to 4th string and a stat line of just 5 touchdowns and 731 yards. Denver finally released him in September 2015, following a string of domestic violence incidents between 2015 and 2016. A hotel brawl in February 2016 landed him in lockup during the Super Bowl, but Ball eventually turned it around. Maintaining sobriety since the summer of 2016, that is roughly 9 years. The birth of his son Maverick in March 2016, combined with the reality of jail, house arrest, and probation, finally forced him into therapy and sparked a real change. In 2018, he launched the Monty Ball Fund to support mental health for student athletes at Wisconsin. And at 34, he now lives in Madison, advocating for others with Wisconsin Voices for Recovery. While Ball had to get sober to save his life, there was one kicker who actually played a game high on cocaine and somehow pulled off a miracle play: Chester Markle. Markle scored the most legendary touchdown in Packers history during the season opener against the Bears on September 7, 1980, while completely under the influence of cocaine. After his 34-yard field goal attempt got blocked, the ball bounced right back into his arms, and he sprinted 25 yards into the end zone to secure a 12-6 victory. He scored every single point in that game, but later admitted he had snorted coke at halftime and felt invincible. A long way from the Polish immigrant kid who arrived in the US at 15, knowing zero English and stumbling into football by accident. The Packers took a huge gamble drafting him in the 2nd round in 1972, making him the highest drafted kicker ever at the time. His resume includes NFC Rookie of the Year in 1972, 2 Pro Bowl nods, and a spot in the Packers Hall of Fame. But his 2011 autobiography revealed a dark history of alcoholism and drug abuse. He was sharing needles and contracted hepatitis C, with his addiction starting in the mid-70s when he got hooked on opioids prescribed for injuries, including a thigh issue that cost him the whole 1975 season. By the summer of 1980, cocaine had its claws in him, and after the team cut him on October 8, 1980, his life spiraled out of control. He hit absolute rock bottom on February 14, 1986, attempting suicide by drinking a cocktail of battery acid, rat poison, and vodka that destroyed his esophagus. Though he finally found lasting sobriety between 2004 and 2007, after 21 stints in rehab, a stay at the Libertas Treatment Center in 2004 finally stuck, and now at 76. He lives near Green Bay, working full-time as a certified counselor at that very same center. Moving from special teams to the backfield, there is one star running back who openly admitted to blazing up before every single kickoff, Le'Veon Bell. Bell broke the internet when he confessed. "I smoked before games. I'd go out there and run for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, performing high as hell." Drafted by the Steelers in the 2nd round in 2013. This 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro racked up over 6,500 rushing yards and 42 touchdowns in 86 games. He pulled in over $50 million during his career, but his love for marijuana led to multiple suspensions that damaged both his bank account and his reputation. Bell viewed weed as a performance enhancer and smoked before every game, putting up over 1,200 scrimmage yards annually. During his peak from 2014 to 2017, a DUI arrest in August 2014 involving 20 grams of pot kicked off a series of marijuana violations that cost him a total of 9 games. including a suspension in 2015 that was cut down to 2 games. In 2016, he faced a 4-game ban that was reduced to 3, creating a narrative that he was unreliable, which fueled his decision to hold out for the entire 2018 season, forfeiting $14.5 million. His post-Steelers career with the Jets was a bust, and unlike the others, Bell never went to rehab. He was just a recreational user who eventually learned to navigate the league's rules. Now 33, Bell retired from the NFL in 2021 and is openly pro-cannabis on social media, having pivoted to professional boxing, where he holds a 2-1 record and is worth an estimated $10 to $20 million. While Bell used weed to get in the zone, one tight end nearly lost his life to the pills the team doctors were feeding him, Dan Johnson. At the height of his addiction, Johnson was popping up to 1,000 Vicodin pills a month, that is roughly 33 pills every single day, while playing for the Dolphins from 1982 to 1988. His teammates called him the King of Pain. But despite the struggle, he played 66 games, hauling in 108 passes for over 1,100 yards and 8 scores. He was a key part of the Dolphins squad in Super Bowl 19, catching a 21-yard pass from Dan Marino to score Miami's only touchdown of the game. His career was a brutal series of broken bones, knee blowouts, and back surgeries, leading to a severe dependence on opioids just to function. Johnson considered taking his own life multiple times, describing a vicious cycle where the opioids hijacked his body's ability to manage pain naturally. The dark reality exploded into the spotlight back in 2011 when an ESPN Times Outside the Lines Times investigation revealed that retired pros were popping opioids at 4 times the rate of the average person. It started with high-dose Vicodin to numb the agony of post-career back surgeries, but that relief quickly turned into a monster, spiraling into a daily pill habit just to function. By the time he walked away from the game in his late 20s, Johnson was hooked and buying off the street. Rock bottom was a nightmare scenario, swallowing a staggering 1,000 pills a month, battling suicidal urges, and facing a desperate family intervention. The turning point finally came when he swapped the Vicodin for Suboxone to manage the withdrawals. Fast forward to 2011, and he had over 15 years of clean living under his belt. Now, at 65, Johnson stays out of the limelight, maintaining his sobriety one day at a time. But while he fought pills, another linebacker let the bottle and a string of DUIs wreck his legacy. Enter Ray Maluga. On January 29, 2010, his night ended in twisted metal when he slammed into a parking meter and 2 other cars, blowing a .157 blood alcohol level. That number was nearly double the legal limit. And, to make matters worse, he had a minor in the passenger seat. This was the same promising talent the Bengals had snatched up in the second round of the 2009 draft right out of USC. At 6'2" and 260 pounds, he was a beast on the field, racking up over 600 tackles and 7 picks across 9 seasons. But away from the stadium, the booze was calling the shots, leading to a rap sheet that started to eclipse his highlight reel. His demons were soaked in alcohol, fed by a non-stop party lifestyle and a heavy family history of addiction that he just couldn't outrun. It spiraled into a daily necessity, and by 2010, he confessed that his drinking was out of control. After admitting to downing 6 Captain and Cokes before getting behind the wheel, he pled guilty, taking a suspended week in jail and 2 years of probation. He spent over a month in a Charleston rehab facility confronting the truth, managing to stay dry for 100 days by May of 2010. But recovery is rarely a straight line, and he slipped back into old habits as the years went on. Things got ugly in November 2017 when a nightclub brawl led to a battery charge and the Dolphins cutting him loose mid-season. But the real crash literally came on August 11th, 2021, in Villa Hills, Kentucky. Wasted behind the wheel, he tore through front yards before smashing into a parked vehicle, eventually pleading guilty to the wreckage he caused. By March 2022, he was given a chance at redemption, a diversion program requiring 100 hours of service and strict testing. Stay clean for 5 years, and the charges vanish. He's held on to that lifeline, maintaining sobriety for roughly 4 years since August 2021. He proudly marked 4 years of freedom on X in August 2025. now 38. He's living a quiet life in Kentucky. But for our final story, we look at a linebacker whose battle with bipolar disorder and substances nearly took him out of the game forever. Meet Aaron Henderson. He doesn't shy away from the truth, openly admitting, "I like to call myself a recovering alcoholic." He knows it's a war fought daily, especially after a career derailed not just by booze and weed, but by the heavy weight of bipolar disorder and depression crashing down on him. J. Henderson's little brother. He went undrafted out of Maryland in 2008, but fought his way onto the Vikings roster, playing there until 2013 before a stint with the Jets later on. He was a force over 9 seasons, logging 106 games, 350 tackles, and crushing ball carriers. But even during his career-best season in 2013 with over 100 tackles, he was drowning in heavy drinking behind the scenes. For Henderson, the substances weren't just for fun. They were a mask, a way to numb the mental health storm raging inside his head. By 2013, he was using booze and weed just to cope, admitting he'd stand in the huddle calling plays while nursing a brutal hangover. The House of Cards collapsed on November 19th when a DWI and possession arrest in Eden Prairie got him benched. He didn't even make it past New Year's Day of 2014 before trouble found him again. He slammed his car into a line of trees in Chanhassen, racking up another DWI charge and refusing the test. The fallout was swift. The Vikings cut him in February, and the NFL slapped him with a 4-game suspension. The Jets gave him a shot. But by April 2015, he was sidelined on the non-football illness list. It was a mental health battle that came to a head in October 2016, but he fought back. Henderson has been walking the straight and narrow since early 2014, marking over 11 years of hard-earned sobriety. That crash in January 2014 was his wake-up call, cemented by a visit from teammate Greg Jennings that convinced him to get help. The very next day, he checked himself into the Hazelden Betty Ford Center for a month-long stay to get his life back. Now 39, Henderson is giving back to the game as a linebackers coach at Avila University, a role he's held since 2019. Thanks for sticking with us to hear these powerful stories of redemption. If you want to catch more videos like this one, go ahead and smash that card popping up on your screen right now.